Hello! I didn't know I was live there. I was just having a look and making sure that I was. Wanting to come in and say hi. I jumped in a little after schedule only because I was uploading the videos for us to play with. Let me just move that around so you haven't got all the light reflecting back. Uploading the workshops that we've done all week on one page for you so that you can go and access it. I know it can be tricky to find all the lives in here if you've kind of missed some of them. I know a few of you have been on every single live, which I am so thankful and grateful for. But I also want to make sure that you get the most out of them before they come down next week. So I'm going to pop them on a page, victoriagibson.com /recap. It's not live yet though because I haven't done it, but if you're watching it on replay, it probably will be. If not, in the meantime, go to the guide section in this group and jump up there and you can see them all in there. It used to be called units. It's at the top of the group. You'll see a few different categories that you can tap on, and one is guides. It's also in announcements, so you should be cool either there. Hit a like and let me know that you can hear me after my session 2 that was muted. I like to make sure everyone's able to hear me. You can just hit like or whatever you do there, or send me a comment, say hi to let me know that you're here. This is a bonus session. We had the 4 first sessions. This is another bonus session in the How to Become a Wildly In-Demand Life Coach workshop, where I want to show you how to attract unlimited clients, earn more money, get more confidence, and help your clients get transformational results. And really that is the intention and the aim of this workshop completely. Oh, good. Thank you. Appreciate that. Of course, it says Facebook user and I can never know who it is, but I'm going to go on here and I'm hopefully we'll be able to see. But even just pop your name in there and let me know so then I can say, hey, we're going to go into this bonus training today on niching. Now, my life, oh, hi Jackie, nice to see you again. Awesome. Hopefully you got my email this morning too. Because the Life Coach Marketing Accelerator is coming. It's called Coach Co. It's coming. I'm going to step you through that on Monday because I want to give everyone a chance to go through all this training first, okay? And I want to make sure that you have what you need and that everybody's had a chance to watch the videos, that they have their workbook, that they have filled it out, that you have your questions answered. But more than that as well, there's an opportunity for you to register your interest for even just before I go live with that on here. You'll get access to all the details, but you're also going to get access to an in-depth coaching training that is no charge. You don't have to commit to buying the program. Hi, Holly. Nice to see you. I'm so glad you're on live. I saw you commenting on the other ones, the other session before. So I was just letting them know, Holly, I don't know if you were already on here, that if you go to victoriagibson.com /interest, that is where you can just sort of raise your hand and say, yeah, look, I want to hear more about Coach Co when it comes out, but I also want a chance to apply for the free VIP training, where you don't have to invest in Coach Co. You're not obliged to do that. But what it's going to do is give you a chance to come to my pricing workshop. Come and, we can workshop your offers, but I can also give you the framework for pricing. I know a lot of you have probably already downloaded my pricing guide, but it might need a little bit of explanation, or you might want to know how that applies to you. Hi, Christine. Nice to see you. So cool that you could join me live. And more than that, I ask questions on that page. So in doing that, I am creating a beautiful new offer for you. I'm making sure that this is really dialed into life coaches. So that is also more of a little bit of a questionnaire for me to understand what's your biggest priority? What do you need most? And one of the things that was coming through on all the registrations of interest that I had was niche. I don't know my niche. I want to know my niche, right? I need help with my messaging. So I wanted to give you a bit of a jump start on that today. And really, this is a process that I run through with my higher level mastermind clients, right? So I've done this process for years with them. So I thought, hey, maybe you guys would be interested in having us do that live. If you're watching on replay, #replay, or tag me in any questions that you have. This is only going to be up for a limited time, okay? So make the most of it because I love doing my thing and coming in here and helping you guys. And there will be obviously an opportunity to come and work together for 6 months pretty much. So you'll have time to really shape it, get my specific feedback and advice. But I want to show you kind of the framework of how I sort of start with the foundation of finding a great niche. Generally, when I speak with my clients, I kind of know where they need to go, and we don't sort of have to do too much of this or labor on it for too long. But if you want to do it self-guided, then this is a really great framework. I should probably give you, I'll let you know one of the worksheets when we get there that you can use. But I want to kind of talk through the overall framework. Who here is in for that? Click a like, let me know, put something in the comments. If you are someone who is wanting to know more about how to kind of feel more confident about your niche and about your message, then let me know. I also do have a niche guide, which some of you may have already downloaded as well. I will put that in the comments. I can see some emojis. Thank you. I like getting some responses. Always good. Always good. And let me know, give yourself a plug. If you do have a website or you do coach people already, let me know what area you're in, or in terms of what niche you already do have, if you've got it figured out. If you're just a general life coach, what's going on, please tell me. Oh, good, Holly, messaging. Yeah, everyone kind of does, right? Hence the Life Coach Marketing Accelerator coming too, but hopefully this will give you a bit of a head start on that. I do want to get the links for you on that. I was doing that on my iPad. My iPad the iPad Pro, apparently the people in the Apple Store told me I'd really like that. No, I really do not. I like my regular, I've got my MacBook Pro, I've got my MacBook Air, I've got my iPad Pro here. So I kind of got a whole lot of stuff going on. Oh, hi, is it Solange? Is that how I say your name? I'm not quite sure. Please tell me. Love seeing you too. And that is so cool. Oh, good, Christine. I'd love to check that out as well, your website. Yes, the niche, who here indulges in niche drama on the regular, right? Who here is like, I need to maybe change it. Maybe this one isn't working. I don't know. Is this one what I need to do? Importantly as well, I will give you those links after. I don't want to get distracted. Is that the niche drama comes up because with all our kind of fiber in our body, we think, I can't narrow myself. I'm still getting experience. I'm still working it out. And if I narrow myself, don't I cut off? I can't barely get clients now. How am I going to continue to get more, right? Who here feels like that? Super common. And I know that it feels really counterintuitive to narrow down and to get specific. But I can tell you're just going to get so much more momentum by doing it, because the general kind of life coaching or, putting it out there and saying, hey, I just help people with whatever problem. I know that you can, right? Because I can do a million things too. I'm a dedicated overachiever. If you're one too, please, you are in the right place. The problem with that becomes that it's really hard for people to find you and choose you. It's also really hard for you to maximize the work that you are doing. We know that marketing requires commitment and dedication and some showing up, right? I've shown you some ways to shortcut that in this workshop, but it still takes, planning, organization, consistency, more than anything, just consistency. I don't mind if you don't get it right all the time. You don't have to follow a complete formula. If you get yourself all stitched up like that, it's going to make connecting with your ideal clients really difficult, okay? So I'm more concerned that you are consistent, and it's going to be so much easier to be consistent when you have a niche, because there'll only be certain places that you need to show up. Maybe you just pick one social media source, or you're in one group, or you start your own group, which I really, really like. And it's going to be so much easier for people to decide, and join your group when you have a clear niche, because you might have seen that you get suggested invitations to come to groups, and you'll see that, you'll judge straight away from the title. Oh, is that for me or is it not? And it's very clear and easy for that message to come across when you are clear on your niche. Okay, so you might be in America and say niche. That's fine. Niche is interchangeable. I know you know that. It's not rocket science, but it's the same as a target market. Okay, so if niche freaks you out, then just think of it as a target market. think of it as your perfect audience, the people that you can talk directly to. I often call this like dog whistle marketing. I heard that term mentioned years and years ago by a guy called Dan Kennedy. And he said, your marketing should be like a dog whistle, right? The people who most need it and most will respond to it can hear it. The rest of the people, it's just like white noise. And I don't want you to be white noise. And so often when we've just got general kind of messaging, it's just bland and it's boring and it becomes white noise. So people just don't tune in. So yes, there's some algorithm stuff that where you post don't get seen and there's crickets, right? Like that's just Facebook pages. Instagram less so, but Facebook pages most definitely. But I don't want you to then really be sharing your best stuff and there's white noise. And I want you to know, like when we go to run your ads and your Facebook ads to your webinar, I want you to know where we can find those people on Facebook. So if you're in Coach Code Marketing Accelerator, you'll be creating those ads, right? And working them out. And we will be, viewing them and looking over your shoulder, and it's more like a done together kind of thing, right? Where we'll be looking for your people on Facebook. Now, I guarantee if you don't put any of the interest targeting in Facebook, you'll have 50 million people in there. And when your budget's $20 a day, you haven't got much chance of being seen by the people who are going to be most motivated to invest with you, or at least connect with you so you can keep following up. All we need is an email address. All we need is them to come into our group, okay? So that we've got a way for them to, having had raised their hands, which is the email or coming into the group, we've got a way to keep following up with them, which is awesome. It doesn't mean we're going to hammer them with sales messages. We're going to be showing up with value. That also doesn't mean you're going to give away all your best stuff for free and not have the next logical step. The thing is, I always feel like if you show up with great value, it's that principle of reciprocity. It will always come back to you. And I love it, even if people don't decide to invest with me straight away, that they go away going, oh my God, that was great. And I know I trust in that. It doesn't mean that I am spending an inordinate amount of time opening the door to all my free stuff. That's what I do in these workshops, right? And that's why the videos are up for a short period of time, because they're high value, okay? But then they come down. You have an invitation to work with me. This is what I encourage my clients to do as well, whether that be in a workshop like this or whether it be in a webinar, okay? Yes, getting your freebies, getting your ads, like all that kind of stuff is great. But you actually want that sort of, the rubber to meet the road and actually get paying clients. And that's going to allow you to keep scaling. And that's also why I encourage you to have an evergreen group coaching offer, because you are disconnected from the time being paid for your time, right? So you've got opportunity to welcome more and more clients as you dial in your message, as you get your offer created, which is what we're going to do in Coach Co as well, help you create your offer. Okay, no offer is getting past me. And if you have your own offer, that's fine. I'll help you refine and up level if you're attached to it, and I believe it works. But I'm a bit bossy like that. I had an ex-boyfriend. I still talk to him all the time, and he was like, "Yeah, you've always been very bossy." Hence why he's not my boyfriend anymore, right? But and I am, because I have clear ideas and I really want to help. Okay. And I really want to stop you wasting your time with a crappy message that's not working. Stop you sitting in the middle of the road, not wanting to own and put your flag on the hill. Okay. Now, like I said before in one of the other workshops, you don't have to be some, out there entrepreneur, those people who just share all their stuff, and you're like, oh my God, did they just say that? You don't have to do that to have a great message to market, okay? Yes, Holly. I think most women appreciate women who get things done, right? We want to just keep moving through it. We want to ensure that we are helping our clients and getting them great results at the end of the day. That is my North Star, and I'm sure it's yours too, particularly if you are coaching others. So, Holly, you just said I have a general website that I love with what coaching is all about. Yes, and that's great. We are all passionate. It changed our world. We want to help it change others. But for so many years, I coached so many life coaches. And so many people would tell me about life coaching. Oh, this was amazing. When I learned it, I was just like, yeah, it's just life coaching, whatever. I didn't really get it because no one was really kind of selling it to me in a way that I could understand. No one was giving me their framework about it. They were just saying, yeah, just life coaching. It's amazing. It's like, really awesome. I've got a lot of priorities. I got kids. I got a business to run. I got, shopping to do and stuff to, go out, socialize, see my friend. When you just say life coaching, I'm like, yeah, sure. That's great. But when you can dial into my problem, or if you want to keep it more general, but you have a unique take or a framework in the way that you put your coaching together. One of my old clients, Brittany, she helped her clients lose weight, and her unique take on that was to take someone else's framework. So, I use frameworks in my business that other people have developed all the time. One of them today in the niche, Brainstorming, that's another one of my mentors' frameworks. And I just bring my own spin on it and help people get through and give them specific feedback and guidance. The other framework I use is the model, which is Brooke Castillo's. She has a framework, right? So she coaches all these people, but she has a very specific framework that then she's messaging about, okay? So you're either going to you don't have to wrap yourself up in knots going, oh my God, but I do still like, working with people who are younger or older or whatever you're kind of getting, toing and froing on. But then I want you to have a framework. Even better, you narrow in and then have the framework as well. Okay, and that's what I help my clients do. It's very hard to do on your own. I remember being in a hotel room in Bali with my girlfriend, Jodie Jealous, and I said to her, I really need my framework. I'm kind of reinventing the wheel every time I go to work with clients. And this is like in 2013, I think I was finally like, okay, I'm got a lot of consulting and coaching clients, but I don't really know what it is that I help people do. I know I help them make money. I know I help them get clarity, but other than that, I don't really know what it is. And we sort of mapped it out, and that was the first version. That was my message to market framework. I still use the principles of it, but that's not what I kind of share now. So you're going to evolve. This isn't like a tattoo on your face, right? You choose one niche. You don't have to you're not in there forever, never able to go and do other things later. Okay. There's a constant evolution, but I want you to choose one so you can just get started and you can get momentum so much quicker. So we want to either go narrow and then have a framework, or have a really cool, fresh framework that you can start singing from the rooftops, because those fresh takes on old problems really do get a lot of momentum. You can go and pitch big podcasts and show up with, something new and interesting. Our brain likes to engage with stories, and that curiosity is a big driver. I talked about reciprocity before, but curiosity is a big driver. It's a natural kind of instinct for us to move forward. Okay. So, Holly, you were saying you have a framework in mind and a couple of different specific who's I have a heart for. Yeah, cool. So stay on for the workshop, because I encourage you to have a few. You don't just have to have one and go, okay, will this work? Have a few. I want to kind of do a bit of brainstorming today. So I want you to kind of open yourself up to maybe something different, because sometimes it's just kind of, I remember someone told me it's like your creative cul-de-sac. Like you're driving around in this little cul-de-sac. I'm looking for my niche. And you spend all week, all month, all year driving around in that cul-de-sac, and you kind of get nowhere, spinning around at the end of the circuit, right? And it's frustrating, and it can take up a lot of time. Really, it is just buffering from making a decision. Okay, so really it is just spinning around like the YouTube used to do, or like it does on my MacBook sometimes, hence why I was late onto this call. So I want to go through like a framework here with finding a niche. I'm going to get my notes out, otherwise I'll just tell you stories the whole damn day. I did have someone to tell you about, Brittany, hers was tapping for weight loss. So it was her own unique take on tapping for weight loss. Then she was able to sell weight loss coaching for $9,000 per client, because she had her specific Think and Thin system. What was Think and Thin? It was mindset around weight loss, bringing in someone else's framework for tapping, right? 9,000. People always say, people don't want to pay for weight loss. They just go to Noom or Weight Watchers or whatever. Yeah, they do want to pay for it, because it is a persistent problem. So if you've got your coach certification framework, that's fine. You can use that too. But add some flourishes around it. Find those specific kind of messaging things. I always kind of go back to Brooke Castillo because she's a mentor of mine, but the fact that she talks about in weight loss, yeah, it's just like, hey, you can use, weight loss mindset, whoop-de-doo, right? But she was like, there's this concept of over desire that causes you to eat more. And that's what you need to start looking at. That sun's really coming in now. We've had terrible weather here, so I'm surprised there's even any sun or glare. But yeah, so that like little fresh take on an old problem, because there are set problem areas that you need to look at. So some people go like way out in their niche choice, and I'm all for you being innovative and, coming up with something really different. But we don't need, I said this in one of the other workshops this week, we don't want to be having to educate people on what the hell you're talking about. Okay, we don't want to be swimming upstream. So one of the niche factors that I'll talk about today is swimming downstream, where we can just go with the current. People are already experiencing this problem. Daily is best. And we are coming in and we're saying, hey, you got that problem? I've got, you're thirsty walking the desert and I've got a glass of water for you, right? There's no convincing on that they've got the problem. Right? How many people here have tried to explain why life coaching is so great to people who have got no level of awareness? Okay, so you're not talking about the problem, you're talking about a solution that is A, not very clear, and B, they're not even looking for yet. So do you know how much heavy lifting that is? And do you know how many times that will be the reason why your marketing, your outreach, or your networking, your referrals don't work or they don't convert and people don't stay on and get great results? It's because you are not clear and you haven't anchored into them being problem aware. Okay, they may not be solution aware, but we need them to at least be problem aware. So we don't have to educate them on the problem that they have. Because some people are like, yeah, I kind of have that problem. But if they're not aware of the problem and they're not kind of like, this problem is really bugging me, right? A few problems that I experience are my weight. I go, oh, okay, well, I eat too much and I really would rather not be a size 14, right? This has been a long-term problem of mine. Then, I am solution aware, right? So I'm problem aware and I'm solution aware. So for someone to actually break through with me, they need to have a fresh take on an old problem, right? But in the beginning, like when I was 16 and I went to Weight Watchers, I was problem aware. I wasn't solution aware. And I was like, oh, wow, you could diet and exercise. Who knew? Right? So there's problem aware people who are not solution aware, and maybe you've got the right solution, but you at least want them to be problem aware. The ones who are problem aware and solution aware, you need a more advanced message for. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't play in that space. It just means you need a bit more of a nuanced or fresh take on an old problem. Okay? So a niche really is just a combination of the people that you serve with the situationally specific problem that you solve. What do I mean by situationally specific? That it is something that people are experiencing daily at best, but it is actually specific. It's not just like they're kind of like, oh, I really enjoy, I don't know, I'm trying to think. I'd love to have a great relationship, right? Like a relationship can be a niche, but you need to drill down on that because everyone wants a good relationships or to be great at relationships, right? So we want to go down into that situation within that category. Does that make sense? Hopefully I'm not making this overly complicated, right? So situationally specific problem where we want to kind of dial in a certain area. We don't want to keep it too broad. All right. And then your unique framework, right? I call it a signature system. Like, what are those repeatable steps that you're going to take them through? If you don't have that yet, we developed that in Coach Code, but you may already have some tools from the coaching cert that you've done or training or field work, right? Your own experience. Think about when you go back to think about you solving the problem, because often you are the best example of your coaching, right? A transformation that you've taken or you've gone on. What are the repeatable steps that you went through? Not the ones that you go through now if you did it again, the ones that you went through, the ones that everyone can do no matter kind of what kind of level they're at, okay? And yes, Christine, I'm going to come to you in a minute as well. What we want is that real transformation too. So, we want to be aware of the gap from where they are now to where they are. I'm sure you've heard that term before. And we want to make sure there is that real journey and transformation. It's easy for people to understand. So, Christine, you mentioned, what about women who are wanting to move forward confidently after divorce and separation? Where you've got like some fuzziness there is move forward confidently, right? That's still a big, like, it's open to interpretation. What does that really mean? Like, I love the niche, don't get me wrong. There's definitely a problem there. So that's in the wider relationships you've narrowed down, which I love. Move forward confidently. I would invite you to get even more specific on that. I'm a divorced woman, right? So I can easily hop into this space of having been married for 13 years, 2 children, coming out and going, so maybe it's move forward confidently in what, dating? Or is it in creating my own life? Is it in feeling secure financially? Is it in letting go of all the divorce drama? Is it navigating, the kids' custody arrangements? Because there's different segments within that woman, right? So there's the woman, there's also different segments in terms of length. Like, I got divorced 13 years ago. So divorce isn't like a big thing on my mind at the moment, right? Like, now I know you're saying move confidently forward. I imagine they're more in the earlier part of their journey. For me, I've moved through that, right? But then there's still, there could still be things that are a problem for me that I'm trying to think of what they are in relation to divorce. Not really. Because I've figured them kind of out now. So yes, you want them in that early part of the journey. So there's that time part. But then also I would say, well, what does move forward confidently mean for each, for different examples of women? For a woman like me who had her own means, like, definitely wasn't supported by my ex-husband. He hasn't been paying me money. I didn't, I always had to support myself. Hence why I had this business, because, I don't think by the way, just as a side note, I don't think I ever would have been able to start this business when I was married, because my ex-husband would have gone, you're spending money on what? Why are you buying that stuff? What's that for? And I would have, bought into that back in the time and thought, oh no, I better, keep doing my corporate gig. He never would have let me leave corporate. Back then, that was before I got divorced, right? Having those kind of dramas. But then once I got divorced, I was like, yep, I want to do this. I was definitely in charge of my own destiny. But my biggest problem that was coming up was dating, right? How do I jump back in the dating pool? How do I confidently date, like, with a baby body? And, how do I navigate this I haven't been dating for 13 years. It's totally different. That was online. And I remember buying tons of programs, but they weren't for divorced women. So what I love now is if I had found something with someone who got what it was like to be divorced. Like, I was just in the general single woman pool, and some of that just wasn't as relevant to me. Like, when I had extra concerns, like, when was I going to introduce my kids to the guy? How do I date when I've got small kids at home? When do I, those little things, or like, when do I talk about my divorce, or do I not talk about it? Or how do I, those are the nuances that when you embrace that's what gets so much momentum. Because I saw something like how to get inside the mind of a man and date, and it was some like CD folder. This is back in 2007. CD box of set. It was a bloody good program. I really liked it. It was an internet marketer, and these are back in the day. Like, these are old school internet marketing programs where they made millions, and people still make millions on the internet. Make no mistake about that. But they used to choose a ghost name, and then they teach on dating. So this one guy was mentored by a guy called Eben Pagan. Eben Pagan used to be David D'Angelo, right? And he made absolute millions being David D'Angelo, teaching guys how to pick up girls, right? Like, guys who had no confidence, probably weren't overly attractive, just no clue about women. They were just these like downloadable reports or whatever, and he made millions. And he mentored this other guy who was Christian Carter. Well, that wasn't his name. His name was Chase something or other. Very good looking guy, by the way, and actually great content for someone diving back in the dating pool. It's awesome. But if I'd have seen someone who was like, dating after divorce, like the 5, mistakes most women make, and, that kind of thing, that would have spoken to me right then. And in fact, I did have client Hillary who came to me. Amy Porterfield recommended her to me too, which was awesome. And they would do it. They sort of had this relaunch love, like how do you get back in the game how do you get back into dating after divorce and that kind of stuff. So I have played around in that. Oh, not played around. I've helped clients with that niche, but I've also been the ideal client. So, so Christine, and we can talk a little bit more on that. It might be around dating in terms of move forward confidently. Yeah, finding out what do they want to, what is their biggest priority. And it might be across a few of them too. It might just be letting go, like dropping the divorce drama, right? It might just be that mindset around the divorce. So I'm not saying you have to only find like one small thing, but it's just finding that unique take on that message. Because if you told me I hope you're playing a little bit in that Nirvana land. I don't know if you watched yesterday's workshop session 4. No, maybe it was session 3. I've forgotten session 3, I think it was, where I talked about, we're happy. Hey, look, I've got this great thing over here. But we haven't really met them where they are and identified that those more pressing problems. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does, Christine. So we've got the 3 prongs to the niche: the people that you serve, the situationally specific problem you solve, and your special system, approach, or framework. We bring those together, and that really forms your message to market. Yeah, I'm glad you like that tattoo on your face. Do you know where I heard that? Or I read it, or I saw it in the movie, was Eat, Pray, Love, one of my favourite books, one of the main reasons I started my own business. When I saw Liz Gilbert live, I was just like, fangirling so hard. But anyway, that's where she said, it was in the movie, and she said something like, having a baby isn't like is like a tattoo on your face, right? You can't change your mind. A niche isn't like that, okay? So, but having kids is like a tattoo on your face. You can't kind of go, oh, I really wish I hadn't done that. It doesn't quite work that way. Right? So pretty permanent. Anyway, I digress. So they're the 3 things. So there are 3 phases to really sort of dialing in your niche. One is deciding on your initial niche. Now, sometimes if you're indulging in a whole lot of drama on this, it takes a second to decide and go test, fail, send it, take it out to people. If they say no, you can move it. You're not, like I said, no tattoos on the face. We're not doing a whole website like I did, $3,000 later, and then going, I don't want to do that. In one conversation with Marie Forleo, she's like, I don't really know much about travel to India. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I really want to do that. But I spent $3,000 doing a website helping women travel to India. Do you notice the link to Liz Gilbert there? Yeah, I was just wanting to be a mini Liz Gilbert. I didn't really know how to put together a message to market or an offer. I worked in corporate. I'd helped people come to shopping centres. I'd done big marketing campaigns. I had $1 million plus budgets a year to work with. I didn't know how to start from scratch and get people on social media. My sister was an editor of a massive website here in Australia called kidspot.com.au. And she knew all this stuff about online marketing. And I remember when I started, I'm going to do an online business. She's like, cool, do you know about, you can search. Oh, this is a good tip actually for searching and validating your niche. I'm sort of staying in a bit of the theory now, but here's something. Go to Google Trends or go to Google Keyword Tool. These are free opportunities. You probably have to put your Google login in to go in there. But what you can do is put your niche in there. So Christine, put in moving forward confidently after divorce. I guarantee there won't be many people putting that in, but what they might be putting, I think I've had a look at some of these for some of my clients, dating after divorce, custody of divorce, or, all the main terms will come up, and then you're going to get a bit more of an idea around, what people are actually searching for online. These are hardcore stats. We've got data over drama, right? So Google Trends, Google Keyword Tool, or another one is Answer the Public. They're all free. Put your thing in. Answer the Public gives you this kind of mind map of what people ask and these little branches off the main question that you put in or the term that you put in. They can be really great thought starters for trying to go to that next layer of being situationally specific, okay? So, yes, Holly, decide, go, test, fail, adjust. I love. But how can we stop ourselves? And then we're like, well, go and ask everyone, what do you think of this niche? And they're not even in your niche, right? But that's what I do love about Facebook ads, though, and that's also why I'm doing this workshop. I've done workshops like this for my office before, but I'm also loving the interaction because I'm finding out what actually out in the field you are struggling with. I put that application there for that VIP training, so you tell me like what's your biggest priority, what are the things that you need. I also want to know your objections, so when I give you this offer, nobody's obliged to buy it. Don't worry, but. If you do see it, you're kind of like, I want you to tell me why. I want you to tell me what would be standing in your way. Because to me, I want to give you like this most delicious, irresistible offer that I think you'd be absolutely crazy to turn down. But obviously that's in my head. So if there's objections to that, maybe there's something I've missed and I'd love to know. So that's what I encourage you to do too. So we want to decide on our niche. Those tools can be a great place to start. When you go to Google keyword tool, look for more than 1,000 monthly searches. Okay, that's going to validate that it's something that's out there that people are actually interested in looking at. All right, great way to sort of even get, do you know what it's also really good for? A great way to get blog post topics or podcast episode things if you've got a podcast. I know I said you don't need to do blogging and podcasting, but sometimes it can be a really great way to just get some stuff out there, or maybe you're creating your freebie. I'd say do your freebie before you worry about all the blogging. So we talked a little about niche mindset, that it comes up and it kind of freaks you out because you have to go narrow, and then you think, oh no, but I like to do this, but then everybody else misses me over here. But really what you're doing is calling in a way bigger number of the people who are going to see you and act. They're going to take action. Okay. So maybe some thoughts around niche could be really helpful for you. Like, my niche loves me. My niche is opening to my deeper work. I'm the solution to the problem people most need, right? Like those kind of thoughts, rather than, oh, but there's other people who want me and I can help them, and no, I don't want a niche. Like, so much resistance comes up, right? So, some of those thoughts can be really good as well. So I want you to, step one, choose the lucrative category of highest potential people to work with. Okay, so say, Christine, you're already in women after divorce. Like, that sits in the relationships category, and I'm totally down with that as a category, right? So yes, we'll go the next layer of that, which is identify. If you don't mind, I'll kind of use you as a reference point for these steps, because the next step is identifying. I don't like using this word because it's culturally insensitive. Groups, not tribes. I used to say, we all got into the thing of saying tribes, and no, we don't say that. So, but specific groups within that lucrative category, like that's what we want to identify. Okay. Thanks, Christine. I appreciate your permission. But that's a good one, and one I've had clients in, so I kind of have a bit of insight. And as I said, I have been there, so I get it. So yeah, identifying specific groups of potential ideal clients within that category. So that's us going a little bit lower, a little bit deeper in, drilling down. Then we want to brainstorm. We want to kind of be open, like what ones, if those in those specific groups, what about this group? What about this group? And then I'm going to give you a worksheet that will take you through what questions you need to ask with each specific group, okay? And then we're going to go and test if we can find it. Maybe that's a bit of that going on those websites can do that, or you could actually just put it out there and see what happens. But it's pretty hard to just put it out there if you don't have an audience. You can ask some people you might know with the problem, but be careful about also doing research, like asking your audience for the answers. Sometimes they don't know, but they will know if they have a problem. So don't sort of try and go to that nirvana happy place land. Try and stay with what's the problem right now. Then we want to make your final choice and develop your marketing message. That's what we'll do in Coach Co, is develop your marketing message. Okay, you can get some more clarity on your niche today in this workshop, but we go deeper with the marketing message. And like I said, no marketing message gets past me. I definitely work with you if you're attached to one, but we're just going to help refine it. I often say this a lot of time, we're chucking the clay on the pottery wheel and shaping it, right? So that you've got a better chance of not having to test as often or have quite as many failures, right? So sometimes we just dial that in and it goes, right? That's fantastic. Sometimes we have to just shape it a little bit, and we're there, side by side with you doing that every step of the way. And then we get started with it. Offer creation, that's the next step in Coach Co. Okay, so let's go to the next part here where I'm sharing this with you. All right, so what are those lucrative categories? They're more, those broader areas. So one might be business or entrepreneurs. You're helping people make money with their own business. Like I'm in this category, right? It's rapidly rising. Entrepreneurs need a wide variety of services and products to support their business growth. So you might choose that as an overall category. That's not your niche, that's your category. There's people there searching for answers. It's established. They're looking to invest, okay? Second one is marketing sales for small businesses or corporation. Everyone wants help with marketing and sales to attract more clients and gain new business. You might say, oh, well, hang on, that's the same as the other one. The other one's more entrepreneurship. This one is more small businesses to corporations. So maybe you do executive stuff. Then a lot of you as life coaches probably aren't going to be in either of those, and neither will you be in the third, which is executive or corporate. Probably not, unless you're life coach. Well, you could do with executives, obviously, with life coaching. Yes, that is one. Executives within corporations seeking out a variety of services, right? And one of them is life coaching. I know one of my girlfriends had her own life coach, or a couple of them in corporate have had their own life coaches that the corporation has paid for as well. The other one is really in that area of like relationships. Improving your relationships, not just romantic ones. It might just be relationships in general, or, getting more confidence, connecting with others, improving familial relationships. That's a big one, mothers and daughters, sisters or mother-in-laws, those kind of things. After divorce, definitely. Then you might have the health element. That's where we have, the most common one being weight loss, but there could also be, strengthening your body, regaining your energy. One of my old clients, Vesna, we created her initial program of Bye-Bye Burnout, right? That was the name of it, which is just like, we get to naming in Coach Co. We won't, but we want to talk niche really, right? But I loved Bye-Bye Burnout and she still sells it. I think she was selling it for $30,000 a month in sales at minimum. And she's got other offers on top of that, but coaching busy women to recover from their adrenal fatigue. So that's a niche there. I had written down a couple of examples as well. I definitely did have some women after divorce relaunch love, dating after divorce, or and Julie as well, one of my other clients, the one I think I mentioned the other day, who was able to kind of get $12,000 in sales in that first month from basically sharing her system for how she had found love after divorce as well. So both of them, they were about that reconnecting, because even though this is the thing, as life coaches, we know the real answer is about reconnecting with yourself and moving through that drama and transformation. That's a good example, Christine, of kind of meeting them where they are, but then taking them on the journey of reconnection to themselves, because we know that really that's what they need in order to meet a great man and have a lasting, fulfilling relationship, be more confident, right? So sometimes we have to sell them what they want and give them what they need, that old chestnut, right? That can be really, really important as well. Anyway, I got off on a tangent. I think they're the main categories. Personal power, like there's a little bit more of an esoteric one there. That might be more if you have a bit of a framework. Like I have a client who is a PhD in hypnosis, amazing like things that she does. And really that's more about reconnecting with like the actual tool of hypnosis and what that can do to bring about overcoming phobias and fears. So fears of dogs, fears of like going out of the house, those kind of things. That's just where we can get specific. So we've got this bigger umbrella of hypnosis, and then we can come in there a little bit more. No, that's what I was saying about the reconnecting to themselves is what you deliver to them, but they don't understand that they need that yet, right? So your niche would need to be the problem that they're experiencing first, that situationally specific problem that they think they need the answer to. In this instance, it's like, how do I meet a man and quickly like get all this sadness and horribleness away? Like if I meet someone, it's going to be so much better because then I can just forget this whole divorce thing happened. That's your niche, helping women find love after divorce. Oh yeah, I want to find love, right? They want to skip past the inner work they need to do. So whereas Christine, if you come out with the reconnect with yourself after divorce. They'll be like, skip over that. No, I want a man. It's like people money coaching, right? Well, I don't want to budget. I just want the money. Weight loss coaching. I don't want to diet. I just want to be skinny, right? So that's the distinction. And it's so easy to fall into the nirvana land of like, that's what you'll give them, Christine. So here I am. It's kind of like, I'm not into bait and switches, right? But in this instance, with your niche, a bait and switch is good because what you're really giving them, they don't know they need it yet. So you take them on that journey when they become a client, and you do that with your steps in your framework. Okay, so really important distinction, and where I see people going wrong time and time and time again. Throw out any of your niches out there as well that you've been thinking of. I know Jill. I don't think Jill's here today, but I know she was talking about women in midlife. There's also the specific groups of women in midlife. Is that there's the women who have had children and the children have just left, your empty nester, like that old term, right? But they're like having that identity crisis, particularly the women who haven't worked, right? Like their home has been their domain. They have been needed. They have been engaged in that and like busy as doing all of that stuff, and put all their time, energy, love into making sure the family ran well. And then the kids go, and then they're like, I've got this husband here. I don't even really like him. What am I supposed to do, right? And a lot of those women are actually financially abundant. Money isn't a drama. Identity, confidence, those things are, but they don't know it's identity and confidence either. They're just like, what do I do now the kids have gone? Right? So there can be something in that specific group. There can also be the women in midlife who maybe haven't married or had kids, and they're feeling like incredibly lonely, or they've put all their work and time and energy into a career, and they're quite high achieving and very at the top of their professional ladder, but they're absolutely isolated and lonely and wondering, am I ever going to find someone? The kid boat has sailed. So what do I do now, right? You see how they're two very different audiences. So when we go to talk to them with ad copy, imagine if we had one, oh, hey, you're not really enjoying midlife? Well, come and opt in for my guide or come to my webinar. It'd be like, yeah, okay, all right. Whereas if it was like, kids flown, I mean, you're not going to use this copy. I always say things like just to get an idea, but something like kids flown the coop, wanting to reinvent yourself and start something new, or it might be reconnect with your husband now that the kids are gone. Those things that speak specifically to that problem. That's not the same woman who's been working her guts out at a career and hasn't had kids or family, but still asking the questions about where to from here. Okay, you could still have the same repeatable framework for them with nuances, but you probably wouldn't have those women together in the mastermind, right? Because we want people to be surrounded on the same journey. They need to reestablish their confidence as a baseline, whereas those other women have the confidence, they just maybe don't have the ideas for the next step of how to embrace where they are and sort of, settle back into their identity or find that new thing that's going to get them excited. Maybe it's career reinvention or something like that. Yes, Christine. So most of my clients are angry at themselves for losing themselves in the relationship or feeling guilty for leaving the relationship. Yeah, so there's either that divorce drama or the divorce guilt, right? So do you have a framework for busting through the guilt or meeting them? Like that's now we start talking to something that's a fear, a doubt, something that's already kind of playing on loop in their mind. And when we talk to that in an ad, that's what gets the clicks. It's real, raw and vulnerable. Okay. And it's not, what I love about that, Christine, is it's a bit of a counter to what, the old poor me woman who has been, dumped by a man and divorced. Like now we're seeing women having made that choice themselves, but there's still the guilt and remorse for putting their kids through that, but they want more for themselves. So what's the rallying cry for those women? It's that movement almost that you can create of the women who've taken a stand to want more, despite the fact that everyone's going to judge the hell out of them for leaving, right? So we meet them there first, then we can take them on a journey because they're like, you get me, you understand, rather than, okay, I'm going to help you confidently move forward. Now you're talking to the pain, Christine, and I love that. Okay, so Solange said, I think that's how you say your name, I help women to self-heal from low self-worth, inner child and mother wounds. Yeah, too broad still, right? I know it doesn't feel, no, but that's not. It's still too broad. You're not going to get very far talking. So, you might have some subtopics off that, and that's great. But what we want to get clear on, and what are some of the problems that they're experiencing because of that. That's where we want to start first. I'll give you the worksheet for that too. No worries, Christina. It's sounding juicy. I like it. So I want you to think about brainstorm potential ideal clients outside of your normal category, maybe even. If you're normally doing relationships, no, not really. Just talk, like brainstorm within those specific groups. Like for you, Christine, I'd say, yeah, you want to stay in that area. We just got to refine, okay? We can brainstorm that too, Solange, no problem. So this brainstorming out of the box worksheet, I'm going to give you the link to that as well, that you can, I think it's victoriagibson.com/brainstorm. That is the brainstorming out of the box worksheet. And I'm going to kind of step you through what that looks like. You can do it in your own time if you like, but it gives you some pointers to start working on. And this is what I work with on my clients. And it's difficult to do on your own, and most people do it and then come back and we look at it and I'm like, no, this is where we've got to tweak and this is what we've got to change. Why have I lost everything? Because I'm in Ecamm and I want to give you that. It's really, I can't comment on Ecamm Live. Now I do Ecamm Live, even though it really is annoying, just so then we've got everything recorded. Search? No. Okay. I've got to do that over here on this live. So bear with me here. victoriagibson.com/brainstorm should take you. Let me know if that does not work. I'm looking for the live. It's probably going to start blaring at me. Hope it doesn't. And put that in because I want to sort of walk you through what this looks like. Why am I? Oh, because I put that in the announcements. So my other live is recorded. Is happening. I knew that would happen. Be quiet, please.
Just
okay,
so
hang on.
then
Here we go.
we've got everything recorded.
There we go. Oh, I've already got like transcripts. How cool is that? Facebook is so much more accessible. So when people are still hating on, I might edit the post later and put that in there too. Hating on Facebook, they are kind of leading the way with that accessibility. Do you know what? I can't put that in. I might have to put that later. victoriagibson.com/brainstorm. I won't like go down a rabbit hole with it right now. In it is actually fillable, but it's tilted away. So either you can print it out and write, or you can enter in, but just notice it's going to be a little bit on its side because it's very landscapey, right? So what we look at is that potential ideal client within that subcategory of the bigger lucrative category. Okay, now bear with me. This is a little bit complicated, but I'm sure you are smart enough to grab hold of it and give it a go, and you can always ask questions if not. The next part is the problem they experience. Daily is best. They've got a persistent problem that keeps coming up. Okay, so I want you to get very specific about that. There's a couple of examples there for executive women in there as well. Solution they want instead, right? So you see how we're going to 2 layers before we go to solution? Everybody wants to go to the solution first, but we want to go to those 2 layers first, okay? What do they need to learn, know, or do? This is where we get to your framework for success. Maybe you're using someone else's framework and you're putting your beautiful spin on it. You've obviously got life coaching. I know that, but let's get clear on what part of the steps that we want to be moving them through, not just general, yeah, we're just going to help them transform. That's not really enough to communicate. And also why we want to know this is because this is what we're either going to put a part of this in the webinar, or we're going to take those steps and put it through in your webinar or your live workshop. What is their ultimate outcome? Okay, so like, you know, for example, with the confidence after divorce that they do, that's where we suddenly go, yeah, they want to feel confident, certain, and happy following divorce. They want to let go of their divorce drama. They want to feel, you know, that they have a new chance at life again. What is their why? So the why is different. The why isn't that kind of, hey, I want to feel confident after divorce. It is just like, I want to be loved, or I want to feel freedom again. So it's more of the esoteric why, because then you've got the whole kind of, you've got that nirvana piece up the end of it, okay? Now you do these questions that for each of the specific groups that you're exploring. You're not committing to anything here now, right? So have a little go at putting them in and seeing which ones come up for you. How do you address a question? How do you address finding women that are depressed? You talk to their specific problem. I'll talk to that in a minute. That might have been a different one. Okay, cool. So how do you address finding women that are depressed? So Facebook don't have a target saying depressed women, target them here, right? So women who are depressed, also there are specific subgroups within that. Okay, so if there are, perhaps they're women who, there's varying scales of depression, right? And generally, if they're clinically depressed, you'd be wanting them to seek professional advice, and you probably don't want to necessarily go there unless you are a qualified therapist. So be careful about that definition as well. But you might just be women, struggling with, say, postnatal depression or just a general level of depression. There are those who are medicated and there are those who are not. So what I would suggest that you do is actually in this brainstorming your niche, put all of those four in and think of what they want, what they're struggling with. They'll be different. It seems so finely nuanced, but that's where the power is. That's where the rubber will start to hit the road, okay? Meet the road, hit the road. I don't know if it's the same person here. Or midlife career women, I think it is. Hi, I don't know who that is. Midlife career women that have been burnt out in corporate and wake up to find husband having an affair and child have just left the nest. Perfect. I love that. Yes, that's a niche, right? It's like the blindsided woman. I was just having a great old time and then like, whoa, what? I mean, well, not a great old time, obviously being burnt out in corporate. You've got a few layers going on there too. There is that's a bit of, that midlife the one that I talked about before, that woman who thought she had it all together and then all of a sudden it's like, no, everything's just, I've been blindsided. Things have been turned upside down. How do I move forward now with my new set of circumstances? But yeah, so pulling out those people and working through that, hopefully that makes a bit of sense. This isn't like, easy peasy. Like in these launches, normally I like to just kind of give you an overview, but I wanted to go a bit deeper because I know a lot of people. Please go to that facebook.com/interest, register your interest and tell me the thing that you're struggling with. We'll do a cool pricing VIP webinar for you with that. So tell me all the things. Holly, I want to help stay-at-home mums with young kids deal with the guilt of wondering if there is more than motherhood. Love it. They're educated and stop working to raise the kids. Love it. Framework includes working through permission to explore, power, priorities. Love it. Love it. I really love that, Holly. I think that is getting dialed in there and then getting clear on the why, like what, and then your, like how we brand that framework and then get it out. But you have got a really good start there. I really like it. See how that's different to just, hey, I help, burnt out mums or stay at home mums. That's my niche, stay-at-home mums. No, you've got really specific about what is bothering them. And also a type, and I don't want to use that word tribe, but it's that specific group, right? She is someone who is used to having a lot of control over her life and being successful. And we all know, well, those of us with kids know that goes out the window when you're at home and you're having a major kind of, transformational moment, an existential crisis, shall we say. I know I definitely did when I was at home with the kids and I wasn't working after being very successful corporate. And then I took years out and I was at home. I'm like, I wish I'd known about this world. But it was like 2003, 2004. All I knew was to go back to corporate. But what if I knew that there was a way to manage my mind through that process, that I didn't have to go and like shake everything up and turn it all around and then go and get divorced because I just thought, no, I'm unhappy. What if I had a way to manage my mind through that? What if I had a way to understand there was another framework to kind of reconnect to where I was now and really, be happy there, right? So good. See, everyone's asking me everything I've been, any weight loss people, come and let's try that out too. So here's some questions for you when we're testing. I said go to those sites and see what goes on there, but you could also ask, is your niche big enough to be viable, right? Because some people take my advice and then take it like to the extreme, and then there's not enough people out there. So that Google keyword tool will help you with that. Are there more than 1,000 people searching for it? Number 2, is your offer or services flowing downstream, right? So that you've got the flow. You don't have to educate people on what the hey you're talking about, right? Question 3, how important will the people within your niche rank at solving this problem, right? So that's what I was saying a bit. When you keep it generic, people are like, yeah, whatever, right? But when you go down, they're like, oh, yes, this is what I need. I know one of my clients, Poonam, she was a client in Texas. She helped, she did marriage therapy, right? But once we could dial it into helping women communicate better with their husbands, because they were constantly fighting, and obviously in their mind, they're probably like, I want to leave him, he's doing my head in. And they're feeling like their man just doesn't listen, he doesn't understand. So then when we can meet them there with how to communicate better, it's not about leaving your husband, it's about understanding how he operates so you can get better outcomes, right? Like an operating manual for a man. Oh, imagine. I think it would be shorter than the one for a woman. Just saying. Okay, do the people within your niche have a history of investing in things? Is there competition? Because sometimes we're like, well, I'm not the best, and then this other person does it, and someone's already doing it. Great. That's awesome. It's proof of concept. It's proof that there are people out there willing to invest in what you've got. So we want to look at that as well. Number 5, this is important because sometimes we get a little bit wrapped up in will it make money? Is this going to work? We're so attached to the kind of how of it. But I want to invite you to step back and go, do you love them? Do you love that niche? Do you care about them? Because you want to love your clients, right? You want to care and you want to be there for them, and you want to, it doesn't mean you have to be on speed dial for them and over deliver. Like, we love our group frameworks and having leverage in our business, but we also want to love and care about our clients. So if you're kind of judging them, you do not, you think that they are like just, some crazy ass bitches. Like, no, you want the ones that you love. And generally they are a version of you. So how could you not, right? But I want you to love that niche, okay? And then we sort of can get to that refining and clarity. Hopefully that's given you some thought starters. Tell me and let me know if that made sense, or if you've got some questions. I had the sheet, victoriagibson.com/brainstorm. We have the workbook, that is victoriagibson.com/workbook. We are going to have the recap page, victoriagibson.com/recap. Don't go there now. It'll be an old workshop, okay? But, do go there, like, especially if you're watching replay. I'll get that organised for you. I will get my beautiful assistant, Alex, onto that one so that we can get it can be hard to find the videos. But in the meantime, all the videos will be in the guide section, okay? I want you to register your interest for the Life Coach Marketing Accelerator. If you've liked what we've kind of done here, there is so much more than that. We're going to do this with niche. We're going to do it with offer. We're going to do it with your funnel, the pathway to have a repeatable client pipeline on demand. That is what we do in this. It's so cool. I want you to give me that feedback in the application. You're not obliged to buy anything. This is like, I want to give you, my mentor always talks about an irresistible offer being like selling a Mercedes for $10. This is selling a Mercedes for $10, right? I want you to be able to experience all of my trial and error coming to get you the right transformation, that confidence, that certainty, that path to clients. Too many life coaches are stuck in the, overwhelm of niche drama, the uncertainty of not knowing where to get clients, the doubt that they're good enough, and that that they have the experience that they need to make this work. I know that you have the experience that it takes to make it work. We just need to focus on that client attraction piece, and just, there's some things that you can pull it together. Life coach training doesn't tell us those things, right? Or doesn't go deep enough to kind of answer our questions. So that's my role here. That's my niche, right? That's where I'm going to fit in for you. I'm helping life coaches earn more money. from great marketing, okay? Because the problem that they're experiencing daily is that they do not have clients. They are not making the money. They're not hitting their targets. Their husband is saying, hey, we spent all this money on your hobby business. When are you going to start making some money, right? That's the problem that I'm here to solve, all right? And I do a really great job of solving it, by the way. Absolutely, I stand behind that. I've been coaching women on their marketing for 10, well, I jumped out of corporate 2010. I didn't really coach anyone in earnest until sort of 2011 when I was doing more consulting. But really, since I've had a coaching mastermind continuously since 2013. So I've worked with hundreds of women on these issues, right? Holly, this Texan, I love Texas, bigger than Texas. Just loves listening to you and your energy. Oh, it's so cool, Holly. I do hope that you register for the other webinar as well. I want to get to know you more. I think you've got some a great direction there. So happy to help. Love it. So cool. Thanks for being here. For those of you watching on replay, #replay, tag me in any questions. I love answering them. Can't get enough of them. Let me know if you can't access that worksheet too. All right, guys. So good to see you. I might pop in tomorrow. Not sure, like it's weekend here. I want you to make sure you've gone through all the beautiful workshops that are already up. Then I'm going to be back next week with Coach Co, and I cannot wait to share more about it. But in the meantime, sign up, apply for the VIP webinar. I want the people who, want to come and they want to figure this out and they want more clients and they want to do more great work with their coaching. I'm calling you in. All right, guys. Enjoy. See you later.